All right. So on
Same
Saturday,
for me, I need this T-shirt. Sorry.
on Saturday, Alabama went into Auburn and beat the Tigers. And on Sunday, before the Super Bowl started, Purdue went into Northwestern and lost to the Wildcats, which means we have a brand new number one in the world of college basketball. Tyler, I'm going to you first on this one. Alabama, Purdue, Houston, who's the best team in college basketball? Is there a best team in college basketball? Or are we just beating our heads against the wall, arguing for no reason, like there's three TOs sitting in a room screaming at each other?
There's no question Alabama's the best team in college basketball. Brandon Miller, he can get you a bucket from anywhere on the court. They're big. I think his name's Bediaka. He can guard anybody, contest everything at the rim. They're playing really well. I know they went to Auburn and just smacked them on their home court, which Auburn's a tough place to play. So that was a quality win. They're running through the SEC. It's hard to make a case against Alabama. Right now, they are the best team in college.
T.O., you agree?
The only case I can make against them is they got smacked at Oklahoma, but then they turned around and beat the brakes off of Vandy. So I just completely removed it from my mind. I agree with you. I think Alabama's the best team in the country. And for a lot of the same reasons you say, Tyler, they play with such pace. Brandon Miller is going to be the best player on the floor. I want to say every night they play, except for when they play Purdue. And the reason I still think he's definitely a better pro than Zach Edey, but what Zach Edey does at the college level, he's probably a better player at the college level and his impact at Purdue. But every game they play, Brandon Miller is going to be the best player on the floor sans Purdue. I think Charles Bediako is the reason that this team's better this year, though. They were doing a lot of the same things offensively last season. They were shooting the ball well. They were passing it. They were moving, all that, but they didn't guard. This year's team's guards, and it's because of Charles Bediako. They can get up in the passing lanes. They have length around the perimeter. They can get out and contest some things, but if mistakes happen, and mistakes do happen, they had a big fella back there, and he's erasing everything. He's a former five-star kid too. And it wasn't because of offensive ability. It was because that dude eats everything inside of 8 feet. They just have a lot of different guys.
There's one thing I do want to push back on T.O., and it's not just because they're playing defense this year. I think that everyone is more bought in to the whole as opposed to the individual on Alabama. And we don't need to talk about who is not there anymore, but there are names that are not there anymore that you can kind of figure it out and do the math. I think Brandon Miller's bought in. I think Javon Quinley has bought in. I think Mark Sears has bought in. Everyone understands their role. Everyone understands they have a job to do, and everyone understands that they're fighting for the greater good. Let's talk about Purdue really quick.
Hey, can I add on that? Because I'm going to compliment Tyler because I think that's a good. When your best player is also your hardest working and one of your most unselfish, dude, you're in good shape. You're in good shape. Like, that was why Tyler's teams were always so good. He was your hardest worker. He was your toughest dude. And dadgummit, I don't think he had a whole lot of assists, but it wasn't for a lack of trying sometimes. Like, he knew
Wes Miller called you out, man. Did you see Wes Miller?
I did see that, man. They called me a black hole in college. But
yeah, there's something to be said there, Tyler.
Hey,
like, when your best player
Tyler,
is your toughest.
What Wes Miller said was a guy on his team had 9 assists, and Wes Miller basically said, I never even had 9 assists, and I was passing to Tyler Hansbrough, and you knew when you threw the ball to him, you were never getting it back.
We're dropping our merch. We got to start calling Underwood Daddy Brad. I'm a big pod guy.